Achieving connection in children can be very, very beneficial, especially to teachers and to parents. If you are a parent, don't underestimate the impact of connecting with your children. If you are a teacher, no matter the number of children that you are teaching in the class, don't underestimate the power of connection. If you don't connect with children, you cannot correct children. If you don't connect with children, you are going to have problem with compliance. If you don't connect with children, you will not be able to obstruct or to be able to achieve a level of control when it gets to the particular time where you need to set boundaries. Let me tell you, a very important part of child development is in boundary settings. Let me start from the larger system. The life that we live allows us to do what we like at a particular age. I call it the age of choice. You have choice to be able to choose between good or bad, between riches or other forms of living, between making a living or making an impact. You see, however, no matter the choice or what we can call independence, there is also a restriction that has been put either by law or it has been put by set boundaries that has been set for coordination, order, and healthy living in a neighborhood, in a society, or in a country. When you trickle this down to child development, you will notice that allowing children to exercise freedom without restriction are productive, especially when it comes to developing them or building them for the future. Having to raise a child that does not know what no means. When you say no to a demand, the child gets into outbursts. When you try to deprive of certain benefits as a result of improper behavior or as a result of non-compliance to rules, to instructions being given, and then the child switch into moods and negative emotional display in the class or at home, that should inform you a level of restriction that must be put. And why? Because when it comes to exercising of control, it is very important to understand that you will not always yield to the demand of children, either in the classroom or at home. If you are a parent, don't indulge your children. If you really want to raise them, I will want you to use a balanced approach in raising them. And this is the place of being assertive as a parent or being assertive as a teacher. And how do you become assertive? You have to be kind, but you have to be firm. You have to stand for a rule and you have to extend love. Love and rules are important every time you are raising children. This takes me to talk about the connection that I started from. You need connection for compliance, for correction, and for a very large number of developmental process and program that you are going to put in children. I'm saying this because if you don't understand how connection works, you will sacrifice your restriction for the freedom in a way to connect with your children. Friendship is not a state that a parent should be. Friendship with children is not a state that a teacher should be. Friendship is a tool. It is not a state. You are not your child's friend. You are not your student's friend. You are only using friendship as a tool. What this means is that every time you allow them, you give them a safe space, you give them a secure space, you give them listening ears. The listening ears makes you set boundaries. You have to be able to set boundaries for them. Even though you want to connect with them, even though you are doing everything in your capacity to connect with them, you must ensure that boundaries are set, expectations are set, and every deviating act to the boundaries and the expectations that is being set must really face a lot of restriction. Because I am free to walk around in society, but if I step into another man's property, it is called trespass. That is what life calls it. That is what law calls it. I can't walk into another person's house and I feel that because I have freedom to walk. No, there is freedom of speech, but I can still be sued for libel. It is very important that you begin to teach your children restrictions in the midst of freedom as early as possible. This is done in the classroom. Oh, I want them to participate in the class. I want them to be able to speak. I want them to be able to contribute. I want them to ask questions. I want to ask them questions and they talk. So I'm trying to encourage participatory teaching. Oh, at home, I don't want my children to be afraid of me. I want them to also sit beside me. I want to eat with them in the same plate. But at what point does the freedom you give them becomes excessive? Wait, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Wale Adejuyiwe. I'm often called Coach Wale. I'm a school management consultant, teacher trainer, child psychologist, amidst so many things that I do in the education space. In this, my channel, I'm going to be speaking to parents, I'm going to be speaking to teachers, school leaders, and even children to help you to be able to see to the total development of the children who are the future of now, to be able to get this information and to enjoy the beautiful episodes that I have for you on this channel. Please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification button so that you can be informed every time I drop my episode on this channel. Thank you for doing that. And I have juicy works for you on this platform. Thank you. The extremity of practice will either lead to the negativity or it will lead to indiscipline in children. You must always watch out for extremities. When a child leaves your presence when you are teaching without taking permission, I believe that a restriction should be introduced. I believe that classroom control and classroom management makes it very important for you as a teacher to allow them to be able to express themselves, but you set certain controls in place. This is connection, because a lot of people, a lot of parents, a lot of teachers, because their attention and focus is on connection, there is no place of restriction. Connection without restriction will not achieve the objective of connection. And by saying that, what is the objective, or what are the objectives of connection? Why do I need to connect with the children? First, I want a child that is interested in me and in what I'm passing across to him or her. You need a child's interest to be able to get them to behave well, either at home or in class. You need a child's interest to be interested in your subject. Many times in my teacher's training, I ask teachers, how many of you hated mathematics when you were students? I see hands up. And then I begin to ask the people that put up their hands. I begin to ask them, why did you hate mathematics? And they said, my teacher. Why did you hate mathematics? My teacher. In a class of possibly 25 and maybe 14 people raised their hand, 10 or 12 of them actually accrued the reason why they hated mathematics to the teacher. That informs me that if a child or if a student is not interested in the teacher, the student will never be interested in the teacher's subject. Majority of learners today that hate subjects, most of them are displaying hatred in these subjects because of the uninteresting nature of the teacher. It is very important for you to understand that you cannot have interested children if you are not interesting as parents or as teachers. Interest is a major part of connection. If you want to connect with the children, you must ensure that you take interest. You must. So, Coach Wale, how do I connect with my child for the purpose of positive behavior, for the purpose of learning performance? Number one, I will say that you must create a sense of belonging. The child must understand that he's not alone in his world. You must also try to always, don't practice selfishness in an unconscious way. Many times a lot of people say, oh, I'm a selfless. I love children. I love my child. I love my students. But really, they are practicing what I call unconscious selfishness. You have never thought for once to empathize with the child. You don't put yourself in the shoes of the children. You don't go into the world of the children. It is always about you. It's always about your rules. It's always about your name it. It's always about your way. Yes, there are times when you have to take a stand. There are times when you have to set family rules, family goals, family visions. However, the interpretation of these rules, goals, vision must consider and must factor the children. Because doing it blindly makes the children obey you temporarily. They are waiting for the day that they are going to say farewell. I often tell parents, don't be too concerned about the welfare of a child. Be concerned about the farewell of a child. The day a child will say, Mommy, I am going to school, maybe tertiary institution, and I'm going to be a person of myself. I have obeyed you up to this moment. Why? Because your laws did not put me into consideration. Now I want to go and exercise my freedom. For the first time, I need rules that put me into consideration. And this is why it is very important for you as parents, it's very important for schools, it is very important for teachers to be able to pay attention to the world of the children. The environment pays attention to this. The environment come up with their own rules, with their own terms, with their own dynamics. And most of the practice of the environment factor the children, their cravings, their interests. They have the cartoons, they have the different programs, teenage program, and a lot of things. And when you see it, these programs are created by first going into the world of the children. It is possibly only in the institutions that are meant to shape the children positively that we create rules that don't factor the children in. So I'm saying right now that you need belonging as a tool for connection. You need to create a sense of belonging. You need the children to know and to understand that you understand them and you are in their world. That's the first. The second that is also very important is attachment. Attachment is a tool for connection. You don't want to create a space where a child does not have healthy attachment with you. Some children run to their rooms once the mother or the father is around. You can't connect with a child positively that way. You have to know. Some children, technically speaking, they run under the locker, or they are trying to hide their faces from the teacher once the teacher comes in. And some teachers feel that the reason for that is because they are disciplined. Let me make you understand. Every form of discipline that puts fear in a child is not discipline, it is called oppression. It is only when a child is oppressed, that is when they keep quiet in fear. When you discipline a child as parent or as teacher, fear is not involved. You take a stand, the child questions it, and it is allow the questioning of a child. Because the reason why children question things is because they don't understand. And once you allow them, you let them understand this, it helps you as parent, it helps you as a teacher, and you connect better. To cap it, make sure that you embrace connection for the child to be interested in your laws, in your rules, in your upbringings, in your statements, in your delivery, either in the classroom or at home. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. I believe you have learned from this my episode. If you have not subscribed, I would like you to do that and click on the notification button. Also, I would like you to share this with other people that you believe that they can learn also from this, so that we can together have and enjoy the episodes as it comes in a consequent and subsequent manner. Thank you very much for always, and I would like to see you in another episode.